Welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be looking at shoreline hidden stashes. You want to know all the location of the hidden stashes plus a bonus location nearby that other guides don't include. This is the video for you. We're going to go through the hidden stash locations in order 1 through 40. There is the bonus location that's numbered 4A. So if you don't want to go from 3 to 4, you can always go 3 to 4A to 5. It's a good location. Look out for that one. If you want to find a particular stash, you're okay with most of them, then just scrub through the video for that number. I'll also put chapters up below so you can skip straight to that number, find that stash, and then skip through to the next one that you're having trouble finding. Okay, so we're starting off our run up in the northern area of the map. You can see the rock passage and north bunker area here. I'm going to head to the first stash now, turn around. You can't miss the huge rock in front of you, and just keep running to the right hand side of that rock, and then you'll aim for the second kind of yellow tree in front of these rocks, and here is the stash just at the base of the bushes. A great way to tell, if you line up with the rock face, there's the yellow tree here on the right, a gap, and then the rock next to it. If you go one tree in, because there are a couple of these, you can see there's no gap between the tree and the rock. And if you go one tree the other side, you can see the gap between the rock and the tree is too large. So if you're not quite seeing the stash, that's a good way to tell you're in the right spot. Okay, off to stash number 2. So head back to the rock passage bridge, but just before crossing the bridge, turn left and come alongside the lake. Cross the wooden planks, I'm going to use that in a minute, and keep going. You get to a tree at the end, and the stash is just at the base of that tree. Now you can't get this stash while standing or while crouched. You have to go prone, hit search, in order to get the stash. You can't get it while standing or crouched. Right, let's go on to stash number 3. Avoid the rock and cross the wooden bridge. I'm going to follow the power lines. So when you get to power line or pylon number 2, you're going to take a slight left. You're going to head to some bushes at the base of the rock in front of you. You should have a tree here with plenty of foliage, and then next to that you've got a tree with a long trunk before the foliage starts. At the base of that tree, just between the two sets of big bushes, is your stash. So from here we're going to check out stash number 4. That's near the resort, and then once we've checked that out, we're going to zip back here and we're going to look at an alternative location. So off to stash number 4. Okay, so when you get to the top of the hill, you want to be aiming for the corner of the iron fence, the wrought iron fence here, this corner. You can see the resort, we're very close to it now. Go into the middle, and then you'll see 2 rocks. You've got a big one here to the left, and then you've got a smaller one over there to the right, and a tree in between. I tend to come just around to the left of this tree, turn, and there is your stash. You can see the resort here, very close to it, and the playground here. Right, we're going to head back to the previous stash that we just came from, and we're going to look at an alternative location. Okay, so we're back at the previous stash now. We headed up to the resort, and now we're going to check out an alternative location. It's not a hidden stash, but it definitely avoids the resort, and it's something you should check out. We're going to head out to the house on the hill over in this direction. So you can just see the house on the hill, just in the distance. The best way to get up to it from this direction is just through these gaps in the rocks here. On your way up, you can look in the windows, make sure there's no one inside. In we go. And we've got one weapon box here and another weapon box here. This location is hardly ever looted. I come here and probably 9 times out of 10, 90% of the time that I come to this location, nobody's been here. So it's almost like you've got 2 free weapon boxes, or the equivalent of possibly 2 hidden stashes here that nobody visits. So if you do want to avoid the resort, but you're in the area, then head up to House on the Hill. Okay, from here we're going to head down to the next hidden stash. If you're on the resort, if you're at the location we previously went to, you're just at the top of that cliff there. You can head down either side of the cliff and make your way down to the bottom and pick up the trail. The aiming marker is the pylon in the distance. You might not be able to make it out very well, but head for the pylon. And that is going to be stash number 5. You can probably see the pylon now on your screen. Just head straight for it. And at the base of the pylon, you've got these yellowish bushes. Just inside the bush is your stash. Here we have it. Right at the corner of the pylon, just inside that yellowish brownish bush. This pylon is really distinctive. These 2 yellowy bushes, they're only on this pylon nearby. They're not on any other pylons. So once you see these, you've definitely got the right one. And you'll get used to seeing them. You cannot miss them. From here, we're going to head to the next stash. We usually skirt around this hill. Head in the valley between these 2 hills. Take a right. Climb up the hill. As soon as you get to the top, turn to the right. You've got 2 trees, and the stash is right in between them. Here it is. From here, you can see the radar tower in the distance. That's the pylon we just came from. The pylons go straight past it, and you've got the view of the fence in the back there. From this stash, we're going to head towards the fence and the next stash near Road to Customs. So head towards the fence near Road to Customs. You'll start to get used to seeing this stash ahead of time. If you hit the train tracks, you've gone too far. It's the big bushes at the base of these trees. You'll see 2 very large trees just kind of close together. Head for them, and if you're having trouble, just go in between the trees, turn to the right, and there is your stash. Really easy to find once you get used to this location. If you're coming from the other direction, you just hook the wall. Make sure you go past the train tracks, hook the wall, and then when you see the 2 trees close together, take a left, and there is your stash. Okay, from here, we're going to head to the radio tower at the top of the hill. So when you come to the top, go along the fence, turn right, go through the bushes, and then here is your stash. Right, we're going to hit the next stash. Turn back, head down the hill. You'll see the cart, wooden cart at the bottom of the hill on the road. Head towards it, go along it, and keep to the road. When the road turns off, just keep going straight. Okay, and you should hit this massive pile of bushes. Your stash is in the center of those bushes. The tower is also just to the left. We've got these blown up trees. Trees that have been blown up and they're splintered. And then to the right, we've got a big set of bushes. And just inside is your stash. So if you're struggling to find this one, look out for these burnt and blown up trees. And that's the tell for this stash. Okay, so from here, we've got another stash really close by, which is in that destroyed house just over yonder. But we're going to turn around and we're going to cross the road. Head towards the road. Here it is. And you'll notice Scout Tower down there in the distance. Scav spawn. And just up there, you've got Road to Customs Extract. Also a Scav spawn. So be wary if you are out and you're not used to fighting Scavs. But try to slip through the middle of them. So cross the road. Just keep going until you hit the river. Now this is actually the perfect location. Just down there you've got a nice big rock. There's like an outcropping here that you can't go through. So hit the river, turn to the left, and then the first set of bushes you'll see, the stash is just on the other side, just here. If you come in too long and you hit the river and you turn left, and you head along, and you see Road to Customs Extract, you know you've gone too far. So turn around, go back, and kind of check the bushes as you're going back. And then the first one you hit is the stash. From here, we're going to head south along the river to the next stash. Just keep heading for the bridge in the distance and skirt along the river. Be careful in this spot. You can get hit from scavs that snipe from Scout Tower. So just be aware of that. Continue along the river. You get to a beach below. You might be able to see the stash, but once you get here, go around this log, and here is the stash. Now this one, you can't always get from this location. If you're trying to get it here, you can't get it. And just about get on top of it. But if you're in doubt, just come round to the right hand side and you'll be able to access it. So from here, we're going to head up towards the train. Once we hit the train, we're going to turn right and go along the train. Once we hit the end of the carriage with the gap, there's some bushes ahead, slow down. And here is your stash right in front of the chopped down tree. From here, we're going to head around the fence, the base of the big hill. We're going to hop the road. Again, be careful of scavs in Scout Tower that might take a shot at you as you cross. Okay, once you cross this road, just keep going. Past the big rock on your right. Over the crest of the hill. And you come to a mini valley with trees. With a hill behind. Keep going. Eventually, you'll get really good at spotting it. You'll see this marker here, this signpost. Graveyard marker. I think it's actually a signpost, but it could be a grave marker. Not 100% sure, but it's right here. The base of the hill in this sort of valley covered by trees. So once you see this marker, turn to your right. You can see the stash right now. At the base of the next tree, there is your stash. This one's initially quite hard to find because you're looking for this tiny marker. But once you spot it, you'll tend to get so good that you don't even have to look for it anymore. You can just make a beeline for the stash at the bottom of the tree. Once here, we're going to head to the next stash. Remember that broken house? That's where we're going now. Once you hit the broken house, at the corner of the house with the tin roof, your stash is right below it. There's the weather station in the distance, and that's the direction that we just came from. From here, we're going to hit the next stashes near the crane and the construction site. So we're heading for the huge rock that's going to appear right in front of us. You cannot miss this one. It's massive. Here it is. And we're going to head right for the correct spot. Here is your stash nestled in this rock. A lot of the times I head to this stash from along the road. If you do, just come to the rock and then just follow the contours of the rock, and eventually you'll see the stash. And obviously if you come from the other direction, all you have to do is just follow this round, and eventually, even if you do a full 360, you will find this stash. From here, we're going to head to the next one that's across the road in the construction site. The crane area. I'm just going to stop on the road. There can be scavs spawn in this area, so be careful. CCP Temporary exit is down in that direction. The pier is down in that direction. Head through the gap in the blue fence with the double stacked cabins. Head to the right. You've got a huge pile of tyres. Note their position, come around the tyres, and here is your stash at the bottom of those tyres. You can do these in either order, or you can skip this one completely. Sometimes I skip this stash because I feel like I'm a lot more out in the open crossing that road. From here, I'm going to turn around, follow the cabin around to the right, and we're going to exit through the gate, cross the road, and you can see the stash that we've just come from in the distance. If you skip the stash out in the construction site, you can just head around the left hand side of the rock and head straight towards the house in the distance. That's what we're going to do now. I'm going to pick up that route. Round about here, you'd intercept yourself running from the edge of that rock. Head for this house. And once you hit the house, keep going. Once you get past this house, you'll see a broken shed to the left-hand side. And then you see like a cliff. You've got two bushes. You've got a set of bushes here. And then just to the right of that, you've got another set of bushes. Head to that bushes on the right. There's a tree just in front of them. And at the base of those bushes, there is your next stash. Okay, from here, we're going to head just by the base of the cliffs to the left of them. And we're going to go to the drunken tank on the bridge near the power station. That's where we're going to head next. Okay, so once you crest the hill, you'll see the bridge. There's the tank on top of the bridge. Doesn't matter which side you come from. All you have to do is go underneath the bridge, and the stash is going to be right here, right in the middle. From here, we're going to cross through the power station and head to the next stash. So I'm going to head to the road and just follow the road. Remember to be aware of the scav that can spawn on top of the power station, the sniper scav. And there are scavs that can spawn in the bottom as well. Once you cross the bridge, turn right and head up towards the resort. This next stash is quite hard to find, so I'm going to try and give you a specific set of instructions here. So keep going till you hit this large rock here. Behind that rock, there should be 2 big yellow trees. Once you hit this rock, turn around and head back on yourself. Head straight for the first set of bushes. Once you hit these bushes, turn to the right, and you should see another big set of bushes. We're going to walk slowly to those bushes, so you know which ones I mean. These ones here, and there's a big, large log at the bottom of those bushes. Once you hit that log, you're going to turn to the right, and there is the stash. This one is really hard to find. It's hidden really well, and sometimes I still struggle to find this one. I mean, this does not stand out at all. But the key is, generally, once you pick out this big rock here, you can turn around, head for the first bush, turn right, head for the next bush. You can see the log, turn to the right, and then there's the stash. That's generally the easiest way that I've found to locate the stash. We're now going to head to the next stash, which is at the base of the terminal. So we're going to head back up towards the resort. Up the hill. Terminal's to our left. We're going to continue along the edge of the fence. There's a big tree right at the corner of the fence, and the stash is just at the base of this tree. This is the corner of the fence if you're heading a different direction. Here is the stash. Okay, from here, we're going to head along the side of the bus terminal. Again, this area spawns scavs, so be aware. And we're going to follow the road. When the road turns off to the left, keep going. You can actually go in between these 2 trees to line yourself up really well. And we're just going to continue heading forwards to the top of the hill that's in front of us. Once you hit the campsite, turn to your left, and it's the stash is at the base of these trees. Don't think it's this one. It's going to be the next one. Here it is. Here is your stash. Be careful in this position. Scavs spawn in the bottom of this valley. And if you sit up on the top here and take this stash, they can still see you and they will start shooting at you. So I tend to take this stash really quickly. I'll go prone, or I'll hit search and then hit prone. I'll loot it really quickly and then just try and get back away from that hill. Just so that the scavs can't see you anymore and they can't fire on you. Okay, so from this stash here, we're going to head on to the next stash. Come to the left. In fact, the easiest way is just to go all the way around these rocks. Come to the base of the rocks. You'll see suicide fields just ahead. We're going to turn right. And we're going to head straight for the next SHORELINE pylon. Remember those scavs? They're just a little bit further up there. You should be okay. So head straight to the base of this pylon. Just go past it and you've got a set of rocks. Hit those rocks. Stop, turn to the right. You've got a set of bushes. Just at the base of these bushes is your next stash. From here, we're going to head to the stash in the suicide fields. Head towards the fields. We're going to count out 3. We're going to count 1 on the left, 1 in the middle, 1 on the right. Head straight for the middle. The tractor is going to be right behind it. At the base of this hay bale, you've got your next stash. Tractor in the distance, hay bale stash. Right behind us, the pylon that we just came from. We're going to head to the base of the hills for the next hidden stash, which is located in the wooden church in the swamp area. So when we get to the base of the hills, you should see the wooden church. It's just over to the left. So make a beeline for that wooden church. I'm going to head down the cliff. Try to avoid the swamp if you can. Get to the broken shed in front of the wooden church. Turn to the left. You see the broken and damaged building. Kind of go in this building, and you'll see your stash just inside. From here, we're going to head to the next stash, which is in the swamp graveyard. So just skirt your way along the cliff to the right hand side. Avoid the barrels to the left and keep going. You'll then see a broken house. Stop, turn to your left. You'll see 2 wooden bridges. Cross the first wooden bridge. Don't cross the second one. Turn to your left. Go by the wooden box. Enter the swamp. Keep going. And then turn to your left here. And you'll see the tree sticking out the swamp with the stash right at the base of that tree. From here, we're going to back out and we're going to head back to the previous stash at the wooden church. Once we get to the church, you can go around the right hand side. You can go in if you want to, and then come out the front door, and down the path, follow the wooden planks. You do this one a little bit slowly, because you can get a little bit lost in this swamp. Turn left. Avoid the swamp here with the wooden plank sticking out. I always end up hitting it. And then head for this house. We're going to go inside the shed. Inside the shed at the back is your next stash. Okay, so there's the church in the distance. Is the house with the wooden shed. I'm going to head to the next stash. Again, I'm going to do this one slowly. It's quite hard to find first time. Retrace your steps, head around the house with the plank on the outside in the swamp, head back to the wooden planks on the road, follow the planks, and you'll get to 2 houses. Just before you go between these 2 houses and the crossroads, turn left and head through the gap in the fence. Follow the mini path until you meet the next set of wooden planks. Turn to your right, go inside the fence, and that's where you see your next stash. Once you've been to this stash, turn around, head back out, turn to the right and head for the corner of the next building. Once you get here, turn to the right and head towards the trees in the distance. Once you get closer, you'll see a big pile of wooden planks in these trees. Go around these wooden planks and your stash is just there next to the little fence. The next stash we're going to go to is in the village, so it's a short hop away. Tend to find heading to the right hand side is the best approach here. Once you get to the path, just start following it. And you reach the edge of the village. Don't go any further. Turn left, follow the wooden planks. Just nip inside the fence, the gap in the fence, between the fence and the shed. And there's your next stash, just in front of the yellow building. Okay, the next stash we're going to go on to is near the Scav exit, Svetly Dead End. So come out, follow the wooden planks, come out between the gap in the fence, follow the fence around, and you'll start to head towards the Scav exit. Go past the vehicle with the trailer, the green trailer, over the wooden planks, head to the next bush in. At the base of these bushes is your stash. The exit is right here. From this stash, we're going to turn around, straight down the road. When you get to the crossroads, turn right. When you get to the car, turn left. Head down the main street. Once you get here, there's a set of concrete rings. Just inside there is your next stash. You need to jump to get in it and access it. The next stash is right over the road in the pile of rubbish. Head over the road. You might need to jump over this tyre. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And here is your stash. There's the previous one. Here is this one. From here, we're going to head up the main road towards the villas. Ooh, we might have missed one. Before we do that, head down the main road until you get to the big red shed. There's the green van on your right and the blue car. Go past the blue car and then immediately turn left and enter the wooden shed. Turn left and exit. Once you exit, turn right again, and here is your next stash. I nearly missed this one. From here, we're going to head out towards the villas. Just head straight down the road, past the cottages or the villagers. Sorry, the cottages or the villas on your left-hand side. Scavs can spawn in this area, as well as the Scav boss Sanitar, so just be careful about that. There's also a fair bit of player action in this area as well, there can be. So keep going down the road, you'll hit the construction site here with the big blue fences. Turn left and we're going to head inside the construction site. Once inside, turn left, head around all the piles of construction equipment. You see these bushes. Follow the fence to the corner. If you didn't see the stash, turn around. It's right there at the base of the bushes. The best thing to do though is just find this corner of the construction site. If you come in from a different direction, just come to this northwest corner. And then the stash is right here at the base of the bushes. From here, we're going to head out onto the road that we just came from. I'm going to head straight down the road. You'll see the lake on the right hand side. Just in there is where the next stash is. So we're going to follow along the lake. Once we get to the end, we're going to follow around the lake bed. We're going to head to the end of this island. You'll see the bushes in front of you. We've got the waste pipe behind and the stash right here at the base of these bushes. There's also a wooden box just behind us. I'm going to head to the next stash now. Go back off the edge of the island towards the pylon. Turn towards the left. Head through the trees. Once you get through these trees, you should see a broken building. We've actually gone past it. So here we have the broken building with the rocks at the base of it. And here is your stash. That's your tell. Look out for the broken building. So once you get to the base of that pylon, turn left 90 degrees. Head towards the broken wooden building. And here is the stash. From here, we're going to head over to Scav Island. So it's kind of obvious where this one is. It's on the island over the big barge. Be careful when you're crossing the barge, you make a hell of a lot of noise. So people are going to know where you are. You can come across the left or the right of the barge. Once you exit the barge, there can be scavs on the island. Head towards the first big shed that you get to. At the base of that shed, there's going to be a wooden crate and a big pile of wooden planks. In between the wooden planks and the shed is your next stash. If you do visit the stash, remember to pick up the other loot as well. There's a wooden box, sorry, a weapon box just inside of the shed. There's also 2 med bags, one in here, one in here. And then inside the main building, there's also another weapon box as well. So remember to pick those up. There's also a couple of wooden crates around here, one there, one here, and then one back where we were, where the previous stash is. Once you get this stash, you've got to cross back over the barge. Hopefully nobody heard you and there's no snipers waiting for you. Once you get across the barge, we're going to head along the beach. And just keep running along the beach. You'll see a set of rocks ahead. You can see the bush crash just above us. With the big advertising sign. Just below that, you've got a set of rocks. And just beyond that, you've got the waste pipe. Once we reach these set of rocks, we're just going to go around the side and the stash is going to be right there. Here's the rocks. Advertising board just above. Bushes. Waste pipe. Pretty hard to miss this one. Once you've visited this one, we're going to continue heading along the beach. And again, this one is going to be really hard to miss. Once you get onto the beach, just keep going. Head towards the pier. And just in the distance, coming into view now, you'll see some blue swimming changing cabins. Some changing room cabins. And they're right below, you can't miss them. Despite the fact I can't really describe them very well. Some metal changing cabins. You've probably already seen the stash, but right here is your stash. From here, we're going to head to the very last stash. It's in the pier. Now, you can just head down the main road if you do want to get this stash. Or you can head along the side route. Come to the base of the cliff at the pier. Follow the ground along. And come up the side of the hill. Through the bushes, along the top of the waste pipe. Down the other side. And then you can get into the pier here. Or you can keep going. Around the corner, along the blue fence. Just by the tyres. You've got the pier boat extract just there. Pier officers just there. Stash is at the Lighthouse. So you can keep going. Scavs spawn in this area, remember, and there could be some PvP around here as well. All the way towards the Lighthouse. Now, I don't normally go for this stash, but actually, in a foggy day like today, you should be pretty hard to spot. But you can see anyone in the tree lines or on the hills over the way there has got a pretty good view of you. Head towards the base of the Lighthouse. As you hit these stone walls, turn to your right, and the stash is right here. Here's the Lighthouse. Here's the stash. Here's the pier. Here's the stash. That is the walkthrough. Hopefully you enjoyed this stash guide. Look forward to many more stash guides in the future and other Escape from Tarkov content. Please subscribe. I'm a very small channel right now. I want to grow. I want to produce great quality Tarkov content. I need subscribers to do that, people that want to watch the videos. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, comment down below with your thoughts. Tell me your best stash route. Tell me your best stash run. I want to hear those legendary stash runs. And I'll see you in the future.